Namaste and welcome. My name is Astrid van Zon and we will do a Yin class today. So Yin Yoga is this yoga where you stay longer in certain poses, and the poses are all very grounded towards the floor. Coming from this comfortability first, and from there, when we stay longer, diving deeper into our tissues. By relaxing the body, it is possible then to release the tension in the muscle tissue, and from there dive deeper in the body and connect to the connective tissue, the fascia, that holds us together from our toes to the crown of the head to the fingertips, everything in the body. And surrounding the body is actually fascia, connective tissue. And that we have to nourish as well. And connective tissue gets nourished when we don't move so much, but not like in the restorative way where we don't do anything, but when we actually stay longer and put a certain type of stress on these tissues after the relaxation. So that is what we will do today. And for that you might want to have some props like a pillow or a stack of pillows, and with that you come very far already, or a towel. And I will guide you through the poses from there. Focusing today on the pelvic area, so the pelvis, the hips, and the lower spine. So we start in child pose. Yes? So finding your comfortable child pose. And I say comfortable right away because we will keep the poses for like 5 minutes. So that means that if you do this while I'm gonna sit inside and you already feel that there's too much stress here, you might want to roll up something and put that underneath your ankles, for example. The same if you feel stressed now right away around your knee, or you have some injuries there, then put something in between or put yourself higher in your child pose. Yes, we're not trying to go to our deepest point right away, but starting from this comfortable position. And the comfortable position for child pose, with the forehead to the floor, with the arms resting in the floor as well, or alongside the body. I leave that fully up to you. And you decide how much space there is in between your knees. It's your comfortable child pose to start with. So finding that position for yourself. Observing from where you are, if it is comfortable for you. And if something is not, then adjust. Now it's still time to observe that and adjust. And then when the body is prepped, start to focus on your breath. Taking good deep inhalations to your lower belly. You might feel that the belly is pressing against the thighs. Deep inhales and long exhales. You're welcome to exhale audible or through an open mouth. If you feel you really have to let go of something, then express it in your practice. Taking 2 more deep inhales and long exhales. And after those, let the breath flow as it flows by itself. Then from observing the breath, start to observe your own body. And being here, you can scan it from your toes up to your fingertips and your crown. And again, observe and adjust. Something not super comfortable yet? Then there's two things to do in this adjustment. Either settle into it with your breath and use the exhalations to let go of any unnecessary tensions. Or you adjust your posture, the way your body is formed in this moment. You adjust accordingly to what feels right for you. And then we can do a little test. A little test to find if there's still some tension, but also to feel the difference between tension and relaxation, which is sometimes not so easy when tension is there stored for a long time. So on your next inhalation, I'd like you to tense everything you can find in your toes, your foot, your ankle, up to your knees. Tensing even in the back of your knees, and tense, tense, tense. Grab the toes, your feet, your knees. And on an exhale, let go. Now doing the same for the whole leg, including your buttocks. Tense up from your toes, all the way to your buttocks. Tense, tense, tense. And on an exhale, release. Now on this release, you might notice that the whole body is sinking. So you can do it one more time. On an inhalation, you tense your whole body or a certain part of your body. So let's inhale and tense. Tense, 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 tense. And on the exhale, release. Now from here, for another 2 more minutes, we're just here. Just letting your mind rest in every breath. You can bring its awareness and focus there. While you're following your gentle breath flow, the body is relaxing. Even when certain sensations are coming up, just breathe. So now after this minute, you might feel that stress is being built up again in the body, while the body is actually relaxed. So this is stress in the connective tissue, which is good. This is a positive stress we're bringing to these tissues to nurture and nourish them. If anything becomes super uncomfortable, you observe that and you adjust accordingly. Then you go through the process again of relaxing, feeling comfortable, so eventually you're diving deeper, like melting into your mat. Staying for 3 more breaths. And taking these breaths with awareness. You might want to deepen your breaths in, prolonging your exhales. When your 3 breaths are over, you very mindfully and gentle bring your hands towards your knees. So with a very soft push into the earth, you can curl up through the spine, let your head come last, and just feel how everything is changing in the body. You're welcome to stay here, but if this is not your favorite position or your knees had enough stress already, you bring your legs forward. Just go gentle. To go in stages, sitting up and then bringing your legs forward, your hands behind you. And just let the legs be, just follow the change in the sensations. The change, what we call a phase change in the tissues, but also a phase change in the water element in our body. Nourishing the tissues, now everything can flow again. You might notice that by tingling sensations, places that get warm or cold. It's also related to your energy. Today we focus on the tissues, on the bodily sensations. Now it's time to bring a little bit of movement in the hip joints. So by bringing the feet out and in, we're actually doing external and internal rotation in the hip joints. Little bit of movement there because we will work more with the tissues there. And then I'd like you to come to seated position, cross-legged. Cross-legged, but not in a half lotus or something, just simple cross-legged with your right leg in front, even though that is maybe not your favorite side, yes? Your right leg is going in front, then you take a pillow or a bolster or anything that you have and you place it on the side of your right hip. Now this is not gonna stay, it's gonna flop out to there. You can place something on your right side of the hip. And then this left leg is going backwards, but we keep the knee bent. And then opening the knees. And this might be an awkward position to sit, depending on your body. My left buttocks is off the floor, and I play a little bit with where my left foot is going to find at least a center position. Yes? So I'm not fully tilting one way. At least there is a center position. So I'm going to turn a little bit towards the camera. You have your bolster on your right and you find your center. And with that you can play with this left leg. Taking a good deep breath here. Exhaling. And turning your hands towards the right. And you might already feel that it's giving some stress on your left side of your spine or anything else that comes up. Now taking a good deep inhale here, but keeping the body soft. And on the exhale, you're going to bring the chest towards the right. So we're twisting in our spine. If that left foot wants to go somewhere else, then let it go. And you find a way to make yourself comfortable here. You can turn your head, your nose away if you want from your knees. And adjust your body accordingly. Your knees want to go out. Your spine wants to rotate. Your chest wants to come to the earth. And you will find a way that you can actually bring that whole body towards your pillow, or even towards the earth for some people. So no holding with the arms. You decide. Where are you okay? And when you found your comfortable position for now, you start to observe again. Observe the body, observe the breath, and work from there. Maybe you need to adjust the breath, taking deeper inhales, longer exhales to bring more relaxation. Maybe you need to adjust your props, or your body on the props. Always use that first minute to adjust. And then after that, scanning the body. Is there anything that is tensed? Anywhere you're holding? Then see what happens when you let go. If the position of the body is changing with that, that's fine. You just want to be comfortable. And then eventually just embracing the stillness and the non-doing. When you arrived into this soft body, arrived into the gentle flow of your breath, you arrived in your deer pose. Where you build some compression and tension around the hip joints. Some torsion around the spine. And all the tissues that are surrounding those joints are stimulated. Then when there's not much to do, the mind wants to fly out, just bring it back to the breath. It's a very simple practice, which is not so easy to do. You can give it a good try. Going for our last 3 breaths here. Just feeling how it is when you fully inhale in the body. Prolonged exhalation. Bring your mind back into the body as well. Feeling the sensations that are here now. And preparing yourself with your hands closer to the body to slowly arise. Bring yourself back to this starting position of deer pose, where your left foot is behind you, finding your center. Just feel how everything is realigning itself. Places where you found stress, how they realign back. And how this realignment in the body, bouncing back to neutral, is giving off certain sensations, which is actually an expressing of your energy. And then we bring a little bit of motion into this practice, placing your right hand behind you. Not too far away, not too close. I like to use my fingertips. And then swooping the left hand in the front, and on the inhale, rising up, stretching the front of the body, but still being soft, exhaling, coming down. Soften the arm, soften your shoulder, inhaling like you're going through water, and exhaling. One more, just opening up around that hip joint, inhaling and exhaling. Now from here, and I'm going to face away from you, you're most likely on your mat like this. We're going to transition to Pigeon Pose. So for me it's best to go this way. We keep that right leg in front and the left leg back. But now placing your hands in front of you, coming to what you call pigeon in Hatha, but swan in Yin Yoga. Lengthening the back leg. Yes? You can have in the beginning your hands still in the mat. Wiggle a little bit from left to right and see how it feels. The only alignment you want to use for your right knee is that it doesn't hurt. So it's either in front of you or more to the side. And the same for this right foot, where it is comfortable. Now when you're like me and you feel your left knee, then you might want to place something underneath because you're going to stay for a while. And you can decide to place something underneath here, just in the beginning to make it comfortable and to higher the floor. Now when you found that pose, then we're coming forwards. And also here you can use anything you like underneath. Eventually we want to transition to Sleeping Swan, but let's stay here for a minute first. Let's stay here so we can observe and be with the breath. And know that you don't have to line up right in the middle with your back leg as well. There where you feel like, here I can relax. Here I can sink into the posture. Always observing in that first minute, is there anything to adjust? Maybe you feel now that this right buttock is pressing a lot in the pillow like mine, and I decide to take it out. I leave it up to you. And then eventually, if everything is okay here, you come lower. You can place something underneath the chest, if that is okay for you. You place something anywhere where you feel you need some support, or you come flat to the floor. Always keeping in mind that we have another 3-4 minutes to go to stay here. So again, connecting yourself to your breath. using exhalations as a sign of surrender, of release, of letting go. And when the body finds that relaxation and lets go of any muscle tension of holding in this posture, you start to feel more the connective tissue pulling maybe along the buttocks, pulling on the inside of your right leg or the outside, all depending on your body. Maybe even pulling from the pelvis to along the spine towards the back of your rib cage. This connective tissue, which has a very stiff quality. Normally it's the muscles working and the connective tissue protecting and holding everything together, but that it can stiff up a lot. And with this practice we make it a little bit more juicy. Now another adjustment, I'm just gonna explain if you want. There are not so many sensations for you around the pelvis area, around the hip joints, around your spine. Then you can make the distance more. So you walk yourself away from that target area, which is here on the right side. And you walk yourself away and you find it maybe there, where you go more with the upper body to the left. We have 1 more minute to go. You decide where you want to be. You're always welcome also to come up higher again if it's been enough already. Your body, your practice. And then for the last 3 breaths, I would advise everyone to come either back to the center or come back on your underarms, so we come out step by step. It's also easier to breathe here, to take deep inhalations, long exhales, giving yourself 2 more breaths to connect to all the sensations that are there in the body. And then coming out of the pose, gently bringing your left toes in the mat, which will help to bring that left knee a little bit forward, creating space, so eventually the right leg can go to the floor. Ooh, you might feel it. Yes. And then bringing your whole body back in the floor. Resting position where you can fully rebound. Either your arms alongside the body or as a little pillow underneath your head, up to you. Let the whole body rest to the earth, feeling the difference between your left and right leg. All the sensations that are coming now in the rebounds. Staying present with anything that is arising now. This can be rising from the body, it can be rising from the mind. Any thoughts that come up, just stay present with it, observe it. Being present with your energy that might push certain feelings or emotions to the surface. Being present with anything that is arising, and just surrender in that presence. We're having a few more breaths here. Really direct your mind back to the body in connection with the breath. And then depending on how your arms are placed, bring the hands closer to the shoulders. So with a gentle push like a wave, you bring yourself up to all fours. Up to a short child pose as a transition. And then on your next inhale, up, back to all fours position. Placing the hands comfortably underneath your shoulders. And if your wrists don't really like the pressure, then walk your hands like a step forward so the angle is a little bit less. One of my preferences when I stay here. Your knees underneath your hips. We're going for a few simple cat and cows. Coming from this pelvis area. Yes, pelvic area where we're working with. So on the inhale, tilting the pelvis, the sitting bones up to the sky. On the exhalation, pushing into the hands, tilting the pelvis, rounding the spine. Doing a few more on your own breath cycles. Inhaling, you're opening. Exhale, you're closing. Keep your mind focused on this pelvic area, the tissues around the hip, and also the lower part of your spine. That is hollowing and rounding in these cat-cows. And eventually coming back to a neutral. From this neutral, coming back to seated position and to cross-legged again. So we're going for the other side of deer pose. Is with your left leg now in the front. And with the left leg in the front, we will go to the left side. So you can place your bolster, your pillows, anything you like on your left. I'm going this time with blocks underneath to make it a little bit higher. And then starting with bringing the right foot behind you. So this is called seated deer, the sitting deer. And feeling for yourself how you can be in your center. That's the most important thing here. Not so much where is this exactly. Yes, where is this exactly according to, you see what happens now? That I can be in my center. Yes? This is your starting position with the knees going out. Then find some comfortability here. Softening in your body, taking your breaths, deep inhales. Good long exhales. And on your next inhalation, you turn your gaze to the left, placing your hands left and right of your props. And then with a gentle uplifting inhale, open the front of the body, and on the exhale, placing it towards the earth. Placing it towards your bolsters, and if this back leg now wants to change position, let it go. You find what is serving you, adjusting your props. As I said, we take this first minute to find the position, to adjust your body accordingly, to watch if you're holding any tension somewhere. And then eventually it's finding the yin energy, which is the stillness. Making sure that your arms can be free. Yes. You might be fully on the floor or like me, fully propped up, all up to you. What feels good for you now? If you like to go for the full deer for the spine, then you can turn your nose away from your knees. To also create a torsion around the upper spine. I cannot go there because my microphone is there, so I stay where I am. Every exhale, letting you sink deeper. And from relaxation, eventually coming towards connective tissue. Now we're staying already over 2 minutes in this pose. This is roughly what the body needs to find out for itself that it's not going to move. Just letting go of the protection of the muscles, protection around the joints. And we start to feel this pull maybe, or this nagging sensation around joints, the hips, the knees, the spine. It's the pull in the connective tissue, in this stiffer material that we gently nourishing and opening up. So eventually giving your flexibility. Anytime your mind is flying out, bring it back to the breath. Stay the observer of your thoughts and your sensations. When we stay as an observer, there's no need to respond. Response is actually just to stay where you are. Staying here for 3 more breaths. Observing what is there for you. And when we do so, then we can follow this change in sensations, this change in the body, and also the change in feelings, the mind. Slowly bring your hands closer towards your shoulders, so with a gentle push you can come out of the earth. And go slow, 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 so the body has time to adjust. Finding your upright, sitting deer pose. Let's watch the change. Just be present with the change. And then we prep by taking out anything that is on your mat and might be in the way, to go to sleeping swan. So for most of you, it's only bringing the right leg to the back. For that, you place your hands in the front, bringing that right hip in extension, so we're also tapping into all the tissues here. We're using now a little bit of motion, gentle movement to find, is everything okay? Do I need anything underneath my knee, for example? It's different for me teaching now online because I'm doing this practice with you. So I'm going in the poses fully, like normally I would walk around and check in on everyone. So yeah, very different. But I'm feeling happy to be with you here. Now, when everything is okay and you used your props accordingly to your body in this moment, you can come forward to the first stage. Feel for yourself here with a few breaths how it is, and if you have to adjust something. Because with bringing the body forward, there's more weight going to the earth, so there's more pressure, compression into that left hip. Also on your left knee, most likely, so be mindful with that. Either coming up higher if you feel your left knee much, or you bring your foot more underneath you. That might help also. Let's take a good deep breath in here before we go fully down. Exhaling. When you feel ready, you can bring the body towards the earth. Either find support with a prop underneath your torso, underneath your head. Or come fully down, up to you. I'm gonna stay here for 4 more minutes. So always be mindful not to go right away to where your body might be able to go. Just step by step, slowly, slowly, to give it the comfort. To really go and nourish the nervous system as well, to let it feel safe. So we can eventually stay longer and connect to the fascia, the connective tissue. Being with any nagging sensations around the hip joints, the knee, the spine. If it's nagging, it's okay. If it's pinpointed in the joint, especially the knee, then please change your position. But otherwise, when it nags, When it's this pulling in a bigger space, then stay and relax into it. Now, after being here for 2 minutes already, you might want to decide that it's too much and you come back on your underarms, or you want to increase the angle and walk yourself to the right. You can decide to stay here on the underarms or go flat to the earth. Up to you, how your body is responding to all these little adjustments, and how you can find comfortability first before you dive deeper. We're targeting this left hip, so this is where you might want to feel the sensations, but also on the front of the right. Staying for 1 more minute, which is equal to 5 very deep breaths. So you're welcome to take them deep in, long out. Using the exhalations to release anything that's not serving, any toxins in the body, in the tissues, any waste. Exhale and nourish the tissues. Last breath. And gently bringing your hands back in the earth. If your body is to the right like mine, you come first to your center. Give it some space here. Instead of moving right away, we go very slow. At this time, bring your hands in the mat and your buttocks to the mat. And instead of going and lying down on the front, helping your right leg to the front also, and find a resting position on the spine, on your back. Yes. So, finding a short savasana as a rebound posture. And stay the observer when you're here. This is where the magic happens. Where the body now is fully free to rest. Where there's no stress on any tissue, so everything can flow through the body. Everything can be nourished fully. And then eventually, last pose in our practice is Happy Baby Pose. For that, I'd like you to take either a block or a pillow. Start with bringing the feet in the mat. So you can give a gentle push in the earth to place the pillow or the block underneath your sacrum. This is eventually going to help to tilt your pelvis. So you come not fully in your back, but more towards the sacrum. And then bringing the knees in the chest. And the block or the pillow is helping you to do so. So this is natural. They're falling natural to the chest. I don't have to help. And you can choose to stay here actually. If this is a nice position for you, you're welcome to stay. Or if you feel you want to go to happy baby, then you're bringing your knees a little bit wider. And then the feet are going up to the air. Now reaching out for the soles of the feet. If that's bringing any tension in the shoulder area or in your neck, then I advise you to place something underneath your head. And then we're here. So this is tapping into where we were before, the rotation and compression in the hip joints, working on the lines and the tissues over the buttocks and the hamstrings, the back of the thighs. But if you feel you want to be here, where your knees are just towards your chest, then go. Your practice. Feel what is good for you now. You stay here for 1 more minute or so. If you are in the happy baby pose, then please let go and bring your knees to your chest, your heels hanging towards your buttocks, your arms having space. And you're staying here for 3 more breaths. Full inhales, feeling how the belly is pushing into the thighs, also pushing into the hip joints. And on the exhale, feeling the release. On your next inhalation, embracing yourself, pulling your knees softly in. And then with a little bit of stamina, bringing your head up to your knees. Just a tiny bit of tension creating in the body. Exhaling, letting go, taking away any props. You're preparing yourself for full savasana, which can be with anything underneath your knees. Anything underneath your head, if you feel that you need that. Either bringing the arms alongside the body or let the hands rest on the belly. I leave the choice for savasana up to you. Your practice, your body, your yoga. You find a comfortable resting position here. Resting in comfortability so the body can feel safe. The full body can give its weight towards the earth. Before you sink deeper, scanning from your toes to your fingers to the crown of your head. If there's anything you need to relax more, Relaxing everything in the face, around the jaw, your cheeks and your forehead. Relaxing the space in your mouth, underneath your eyelids. Relax. Just keeping your mind focused in your relaxation, either on your breath or on your body. But let everything sink. Sink and surrender, feeling the effects of your practice. Now I really feel I like to leave you here. Instead of bringing you up, you can bring yourself up to this seated position after you feel that your savasana has been long enough after your practice. But we can end the practice together, and then you decide if you come up or stay longer. Let's end the practice together by bringing a left hand to the lower belly and the right hand on the heart space. Tapping into these places that bring so much connection and joy towards us, that generate our energy from our center and the heart. Just feel how gently your breath is flowing underneath and moving these places. Feeling the connection to your own center, your own heart. Concluding this practice with a grateful thought. And let that grateful thought be positive, something you're really grateful for. Sealing this thought by not only thinking it, but really telling it internally to yourself. Let's do one more deep inhale together. Exhaling fully. If you feel you want to get up, you can turn to left and right. And bring yourself up and end your practice. If you feel you want to stay longer, please stay longer. Whatever you decide to do, keep this gentle, soft yin energy with you, this slowing down. This practice we can use also in our daily life. Namaste.